Right. So get this. We're diving into a patent that says you could mine cryptocurrency just by, well, living your life.
Seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
I've seen this one floating around too.
Buckle up because this one is wild.
It's pretty out there.
Microsoft filed a patent for a system that uses your body activity to power a cryptocurrency system.
Yeah, no more like giant warehouses full of computers.
Right.
All that energy consumption.
Exactly. This is about harnessing like your brain waves, body heat, even your heartbeat as the proof of work.
Really mining crypto with your mind.
We're talking about a future where like just watching an ad, reading an email, or just chilling could earn you crypto.
Yeah, it sounds pretty sci-fi.
Sound too sci-fi to be true. Let's find out.
Right.
So this patent describes a system where tasks are sent to your device, like watching an ad, reading an article, or using a service.
Basically just normal everyday stuff.
And sensors, like wearables, maybe even your phone, would track your body's response, brain waves, heart rate, all that. And all that data would be processed and essentially become your mining output.
And potentially like hashed.
Yeah.
Just like traditional cryptocurrency.
So instead of a computer solving some crazy math problem,
right,
it's your brain going, ooh, shiny ad.
Yeah.
That's generating value.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but hold on a second. How do they even know you're actually doing the task?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Not just like napping while an ad plays in the background.
Right. Well, the patent mentions using things like fMRI scans.
fMRI, like the giant brain scanners.
Yeah, to verify user engagement.
Hold on. Are they suggesting people would need an fMRI every time they want to mine some crypto? It's not exactly something you have lying around in your basement.
Yeah, it does seem pretty impractical, to say the least.
Right.
And let's be real, the privacy concerns are huge.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, do we really want companies having access to that level of biometric data?
It's a whole can of worms.
Huge can of worms.
Right. Not to mention, how do you even ensure fairness in a system like this?
Yeah. How do you make a level playing field?
Right, because, like, does everyone's brain generate, quote, valuable data equally?
Right.
What if someone's just not that reactive? Does that mean they're inherently bad at mining crypto?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
And what about people trying to game the system?
Oh, for sure people will try.
Imagine someone figuring out how to artificially spike their heart rate while watching an ad.
Right.
Suddenly they're raking in the crypto without actually doing anything.
Yeah, security and potential exploits are major concerns.
It's like a digital arms race.
For sure, anything you can game will be gamed.
It's both fascinating and a little terrifying, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Like, this patent feels like a glimpse into a potential future that's both incredibly cool
right,
and kind of dystopian at the same time.
Absolutely. It raises a ton of questions that we're going to need to grapple with if this technology ever moves beyond the theoretical.
Yeah, beyond this patent.
Right.
That's sitting in some file cabinet somewhere.
Hopefully it stays theoretical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you think about, like, what if our brain activity becomes a valuable commodity?
Totally. Imagine a world where you're scrolling through, social media. And every comment is generating a tiny bit of crypto.
Right. And think about, like, the potential for manipulation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if companies can figure out what content triggers certain brain responses, they could use that to influence our behavior. Right.
It's like targeted advertising on steroids.
Exactly.
Okay, now that's getting a little Black Mirror-ish, don't you think?
For sure.
Like, what if they, start designing ads specifically to maximize your brain activity?
Right.
Even if it's not actually in your best interest.
Yeah. And then, that brings us to another big issue.
Which is
control, who owns this data? Who sets the value for different types of brain activity?
Right, because in the patent, they talk about setting these target ranges for body activity.
Right, so, you're actually putting an effort.
Yeah, and not just, I don't know, having a seizure while watching a cat video.
Exactly, but how do they define legitimate effort, right?
Yeah.
What even is a normal brain response?
Right.
We don't all have the same brains.
Yeah, exactly. What if someone's baseline heart rate is just naturally higher?
Right.
Does that mean they're inherently better at mining crypto?
Yeah.
Or what if, you have a condition like ADHD,
right,
where your brain activity might be all over the place?
Exactly. All valid questions. And the patent mentions using machine learning algorithms to set those ranges.
Okay.
But, that just adds another layer of complexity
Yeah.
and potential bias.
Right.
Like, what data are those algorithms being trained on? Who's deciding what's normal?
It feels like there are way more questions than answers here.
For sure.
And it makes you wonder, like, are we really ready for a world where our very biology is being monetized?
Right. I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone has a clear answer.
Yeah.
This technology is so new, so uncharted.
Right.
We're basically flying blind here.
So what can we do? Should we just, like, throw our hands up in the air and say, well, the future is going to future?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed.
Okay.
We need to be aware of these developments, have open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks, and demand transparency from the companies developing these technologies.
I agree. We can't just sit back and let the future happen to us.
Right.
We have to be, active participants in shaping it.
Exactly.
And if that means pushing back against ideas that feel ethically questionable, then so be it.
This is just the beginning of the conversation, folks.
Keep those brainwaves firing.
Yeah. Stay curious, and let's figure this out together.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides of this technology, but let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay.
What are some of the potential benefits?
Okay.
Is there a way to harness this tech for good?
Well, one potential upside is the energy efficiency, right?
That's right.
Like, imagine a world where we don't need these massive, power-hungry server farms to mine cryptocurrency.
Okay.
If we could somehow use our own biometrics to power those transactions, that'd be huge.
That's a good point. And what about accessibility? Could this make cryptocurrency more accessible to people who don't have the resources to invest in all the expensive mining equipment?
It's possible. Like, imagine a future where you don't need a fancy computer.
Right.
Or a ton of technical knowledge to participate in the crypto economy. You could just use your own body, your own existence to generate value.
Okay, that's kind of a mind-blowing concept.
It is.
But it also feels like we're walking a tightrope here.
Right.
We need to be careful not to get so caught up in the potential benefits that we overlook the ethical implications.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility, between progress and protection.
And that's going to require a lot of thoughtful discussion, debate, collaboration.
For sure.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is.
This technology could potentially revolutionize everything from finance to healthcare to social media.
Right.
But it could also lead us down a pretty dark path if we're not careful.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to be having this conversation now. While this technology is still in its infancy, we have a chance to shape its development, to steer it in a direction that benefits humanity as a whole. And that's a responsibility we shouldn't take lightly.
Well said. So, listeners, what do you think? Are you excited about the prospect of mining crypto with your mind? Or are you a little creeped out by the whole thing? Let us know your thoughts on social media.
Yeah, hit us up.
Just be sure to tag Tech News Now.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're kind of on the verge of a whole new era.
For sure.
Where the lines between like the physical and digital worlds are becoming increasingly blurred.
It's like the next evolution of the internet.
Yeah.
Where our bodies become part of the network.
And like any major technological shift, there are going to be winners and losers.
For sure.
We need to make sure this doesn't just exacerbate existing inequalities.
Right, absolutely. Like, imagine people in developed countries with access to the latest, like, wearables and brain-computer interfaces are able to mine crypto at a much faster rate than those in less developed regions.
Yeah.
That could create a whole new digital divide.
And what about people with disabilities?
Right.
Would they be at a disadvantage in this system?
That's a critical question. Accessibility and inclusivity.
Yeah. Have to be front and center in any conversation about the future of this technology.
It also makes you wonder about the potential, like, psychological impact.
Oh, for sure.
If we're constantly being rewarded for certain types of brain activity, could that start to change how we think and behave?
Yeah. Imagine, like, meditation apps that are designed not just to reduce stress, but also to maximize your crypto earnings.
Whoa. That's
or like educational platforms that gamify learning by rewarding you with crypto for achieving certain levels of focus.
Wow, that's both intriguing and a little scary.
Yeah, it's like we're talking about engineering human behavior on a mass scale.
And who gets to decide what those, desired behaviors are?
Right, exactly.
That's a huge ethical question that we need to grapple with.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is we can't just approach this technology from a purely technical perspective.
Right.
We need to be thinking about the social, ethical, philosophical implications.
All of it.
We need to be having these conversations across disciplines, bringing together technologists, ethicists, policymakers, everyday citizens.
And all the stakeholders.
To shape a future where this technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah, we have a choice to make.
About what kind of future we want to create.
And it's a choice we need to make collectively. This isn't just about Microsoft or any one company. This is about the future of humanity.
Right.
In a world where our biology is increasingly intertwined with technology.
So, listeners, we're throwing this one back to you. What are your thoughts on this mind-boggling patent? Hit us up on social media.
Yeah, let's keep this conversation going.
Because the future's unwritten, and it's up to all of us to decide what it looks like.
Well said.
That's it for this deep dive. Be sure to check out the next episode of Tech News Now.